welcome. Welcome to our monthly meetup for ukulele instructors all around the world. This is free for anyone to attend, participate. And what's special about this one is we're doing songs in other languages. So let me first introduce everybody that is going to be presenting. My name is Ann Koo, and I'm going to present first on sort of give an overview and talk about Chinese. And next, we're going to have Bruce Borham in Italy. He's been co-teaching Italian voice over ukulele class. We just finished the 8-week class, and he's going to talk about teaching songs in Italian. Following that, we have Mark in California is going to be showing us a song, a well-known Hawaiian song, how to correctly pronounce it. And then followed by Hardy in Germany, who's going to be showing us that song in German and anything else he would like. And finally, Kelly, who's in Malaysia, she's going to be showing us a song in Malay. So if there's any time in the 15-minute slot that we have, feel free to add another song. I think some of you have extra songs. And I just want to welcome our newcomer, Anne Laurie. You could tell us more about yourself later. And our old comer, Monica, we haven't seen in a while. And Marlise is co-hosting, so I'll hand over and she'll be hosting after I finish. Kelly, there you go. Hi, Kelly. So we're being live streamed now on YouTube, and every month we meet together, and there are the past ones. Mark last month talked about Hawaiian strums, and then earlier we had improvisation by Lindsay Higgs, and then different composers. So I suspect that this topic is going to expand to our July session. And I would like to propose that we meet on the third Saturday in July. I think that's about the 15th of July. And then in August, meet on the second Saturday, only because that's when I'm available. So here's Marlise back. Marlise she's taught German songs, right? So this is a topic very dear to her. And I'm just going to mute everyone so I can make sure I have the best sound and talk about what is it like to teach songs in another language. This all started with me wanting to teach Chinese Mandarin songs because I'm Chinese. Chinese Mandarin is my first language, my mother tongue, and also a way for me to reconnect with my culture and my mother, who lives in. Okay, thanks. I will. Okay, sorry. And I like to talk about how when we think about songs, there's really 3 kinds of songs in other languages. One, it's a song that we already know in our own language, like Farah Jaka or Happy Birthday. Another one is, so we already know the music, so it's just a matter of using new lyrics to sing that song. The second one is a song that is familiar to us, but we don't really know the words in that language, or we maybe know a few words like volare. We don't know it in Italian, but we've heard it. And for me, the Chinese song that every single Chinese person knows, apparently, according to research, is Mo Li Hua, or Jasmine Flower. And it's a pentatonic tune. So if you hear it, you probably think, that reminds me of Turandot. Puccini, did he write that? No, he stole it, actually. He took it and put it in there because it's about this evil Chinese princess, right? So the third one, where everything's unfamiliar, is you don't know the tune, you've never heard of the song, you don't know it in that foreign language. right? So that is the hardest. So the question now is, when you present this to your students, what do? Do you play the music so they could familiarize themselves with it, like listen to it before they come to class? Do you give them the sheet music with all the melodic notes, the lead sheet, or do you give them the song sheet? And also, when you teach it, do you have them learn to pronounce the lyrics first so they get it right? Or do you translate them so that they know what it's about? Many times it's like, well, I'm reluctant to pronounce the words I see unless I know for sure how to say it, especially for adults, because we don't want to look dumb. If I see something like CHE, I'll say che, but maybe it should be che or ke, right? I don't know. If I see a Q, I want to say k, but maybe it's not a k. Yeah. So those are the things that come up. And I've taught Chinese songs with the ukulele, for the ukulele, or just Chinese Mandarin songs in the last, the time during Zoom and also previously in Hawaii. And so I was really surprised how songs that are really familiar to me, for example, pentatonic songs, I grew up with it, are really hard for non-Chinese speakers to grasp because they haven't heard this tune. So it's so unfamiliar that they can't grasp it. And then when I try to teach pinyin and I repeatedly say, when you see an X, that's like, thank you, 谢谢. Just do sh, but people still want to do k because they see the X. Or if I see a Q, I say to them, when you see a Q, a QI, that's a chi sound, but people still go k because they're used to it. So old habits die very hard. You're used to seeing, the alphabet with other letters that you're familiar with. So when you suddenly put them together and then use a different sound to it, it's like, whoa. So one of the ideas is, well, maybe we shouldn't put those finesse, letters in front of them because they'll just read it their own way. And then one of my students actually went on to use his own, set of letters to redefine it. Like, for example, for me, 茉莉花, it's spelled MOLIHUA, but you don't say mo, you say more. There's a big difference if we all say more. So every time you see MO, you have to see more. So why don't I just pencil it in more, right? Because I understand it, it makes sense to me. So what I want to do now is to just share some of the questions I like to address in this short session. Think about it when you're teaching this. Number one is, are you teaching the language through song, or which I decided to do when I was teaching Mandarin, because I thought, well, maybe it's easier. It's much more enjoyable when I was teaching the song. Okay. And then, are you teaching music through song, right? Are you adding additional elements like dynamics, expression, how to read notes? Are you trying to teach the ukulele through song, which is what most of us have been doing, right? We've been teaching you how to play the ukulele through song. But if you add that additional dimension of language, it changes. Another question to think about is, what will the student learn, right? Is the student learning to speak the language or sing a particular language in another song, in a song in another language? So the main takeaway is, well, I want to make sure my students can experience learning a song in another language. And it's really fun because it's kind of like going to another country and you hear all these different languages, you grasp this word, that word. So here are the 3 types of song that I mentioned. So 2 tigers in Chinese is the Farajaka one. So I'm just going to play that. just make sure that we have stereo quality. Okay, so this is something that I put together. All right. Okay. So that is a song that you're familiar with, but it's in a language you're not familiar with. It's all about two tigers running fast. One doesn't have an eye, one doesn't have a tail. And last year was the year of the tiger, so we learned that song. So it's very strange. Okay, I'm about running out of time. So what I'm going to do is just share with you the rest of my presentation and what I like to have you think about while we're presenting today. So here we go. So that was two tigers in Chinese. And I have the music, which is here, which we use in Italian voice over ukulele, the Fra Martino song. And of course, in French, we know it. In English, we know it. Are you sleeping? And this is a Chinese bit. Notice here, even though it's in pinyin, we don't have the usual tones, the 4 or 5 different tones, because in music it disappears. So in many ways, Chinese is easier if you sing it rather than speak it. Okay. And going back to the songs in other languages. So the second one is a familiar song, but you don't know the names of. So you can have this. You could look into Jasmine Flower and a video tutorial on how to learn it. And finally, an unfamiliar song, The Moon Represents My Heart, which is one of the most poignant modern love songs. So in terms of how you present your teaching, you know, what I like to do is to reorder this into the most optimum level. What I just did was just play the song. So you heard it without anything. You just heard it. Okay. So would it be easier if I showed you the lyrics, the song sheet, so you could sing along with it or try to? Or should I have shown you the pronunciation chart for pinyin? And so that you know the meaning of the words, therefore, when you're singing it, you can imagine the tigers rather than the monk, you know, rather than Father Martino or, you know, Frere Jacques. Okay. Or do you teach the melody so they kind of know what it is? Do you teach the music itself first? Or when do you teach the accompaniment? Yeah, it turns out in our Italian voiceover class, it's really hard to sing in Italian and accompany ourselves because you're so focused on trying to pronounce it correctly. Okay, so that's all I have. And let's move on to Bruce, and let me hand over the command to.
Thank you, Anne. Nicely done. I'm sorry we couldn't make it through the whole thing, but this will be up so people can look at it later. And I really appreciate all the work. You put a lot of hard work into this, so thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. So now we're gonna move on to Bruce. And Bruce, we'll just
Yes.
start your time in a minute or so, okay?
Okay. Um, well, Anne organized these courses in Chinese songs, I think, starting about 2 years ago. And several of our ukulele students took them, most of whom had never tried to speak or sing in Chinese. So I thought, well, Italian will be easy peasy. I mean, it should be very easy compared to Mandarin. Well, I was wrong. It was more difficult than we thought, and I had to redesign our objectives. I had originally planned on having 6 different songs in 6 different genres, starting with nursery rhymes. So yes, we did do Fra Martino, or Frere Jacques as it's usually called, and I just wanted them to get used to the vowel sounds with that. So I actually had them singing the vowels instead of saying Fra Martino. I would go io. So the Fra Martino. So each of the 7 vowels. I mean, written with the same 5 letters that you would have vowels in English. But as you probably know, we have 14, 15 different sounds in English. Oh, perhaps I should explain part of my background. In addition to my music training, I'm a professional singer. I taught English at the University of Venice for 18 years. So that's one of 2 very significant experiences. So I'm very used to teaching language, but normally it's the English language. And in addition, I devised a course in 1989, which I've continued up to the present day, called English in Song. So teaching our language, if you want to call it that. It's most of us, I think, are English speakers. Um, that also, I would say, in almost all cases, I'm not sure I fully agree with Anne's division of the language of the songs into these three different categories. As to songs that are only in that language, but we already know them in some other language. Those were cases that I don't consider those languages really part of the culture. And so, yes, you can sing Happy Birthday. Okay, you can indeed sing Happy Birthday in many different languages, but it's not a typical Italian song. It's the same as if you were trying to teach English using Stille Nacht instead of German. Of course, you can have the English version of it. It's great to do that at Christmas time, etc. But does it make sense teaching the English language using Stille Nacht? I would profess that it does not. Um, so I tried, except for the very first song, I tried to get songs that were typical not only of Italian culture, but that also had teaching points that are significant for learning the language. Now, again, Anne mentioned, well, we have to establish our objective. In my opinion, our objective is not to teach the language. It's to, in 8 weeks, allow people to have the tools they need to be able to sing a song in Italian, in this case, uh, and hence concentrate more on the pronunciation than on having them learn an enormous number of words, grammar. I mean, I did not focus at all on teaching them Italian grammar. I did focus a lot on pronunciation. And so one of the next songs that we learned was Mamma. Now, as you hear, we have a double M. It's not mama, it's mamma. And this is extremely important in Italian, having the double consonants, being able to pronounce them as such. And now, in English, I don't use translation. I use everything in direct. I mean, obviously, anybody living this country for 40 years is fluent in the language, but you don't want to use the language, as far as I'm concerned. You don't want to use any other language. At least when I was teaching English, when I am teaching English in song, I try to use only English. I don't use Italian even with beginners. This was not really possible in this Italian voice over ukulele class. Realistically speaking, if I had spoken to them only in Italian, they would have gotten the sounds perhaps better in a certain sense, but they wouldn't have understood what was going on in that short amount of time, and probably a lot of them would have gotten frustrated and given up, as often is the case. And indeed, the students were very impatient to know the meaning of the sounds, the meaning of the words. And that was often a limit. For example, one of the art songs that we did, Caro mio ben, has translations from 1894. And you can already see, it uses Victorian language. The usual translation that you see is, if I recall, thou art my bliss. I mean, nobody today is going to say thou art my bliss. So as for Mama, as for, Frere Jacques, I didn't have to translate that. That's already in English, although the translation is somewhat different, but it's close enough. Also, Caro mio ben, I translated it into modern English. So it started it out as love of my life. That's immediately understandable. And more importantly, I think there's an emotional connection that a person has. The singer must feel an emotional connection with what he's saying. And thou art my bliss is a bit too far from having an emotional connection. So let's see, bliss, oh, that sounds really nice. Okay, you, thou, all right. It just isn't the same thing. It sounds like somebody is speaking English from centuries ago and singing it to an Italian tune. No, it just doesn't work. So anyway, ideally I would have presented the songs without any written form at all. Now, I disagree in some ways from what Anne was saying, that she, obviously made them more accessible by using pinyin instead of using, you could have even just used the ideograms if you wanted to, and had the pronunciation. But as a mnemonic device, I admit, having an accessible alphabet, even though as she said, the Q and the X in Mandarin obviously have different sounds than in many other languages. The same in Italian. Of course, the C, just to make an example, is ch or ke. But, of course, ciao, just to take the most common word, people accept, it's not ciao, it's ciao. And it takes a while for people to understand. It's Pinot Grigio. It's not Grigio. No, it's Grigio. And so on. So there's some basic phonetic differences if you start using the words. I found that one of our British students, for example, he had fairly good pronunciation if he just immediately repeated what he heard. So that means he had a good ear. But as soon as he saw the word written, he would start using English phonemes. And this was a problem. So not only would he have the usual R that we have in English, but many other sounds, the vowels included, would immediately become English sounds instead of Italian sounds. So this was a major problem. These are some of the issues that we had to face here. I also had to redesign the syllabus in a certain sense, because, as I said, I think we overshot our estimation of what the feasibility of many of these songs would have been in English. Let me see if I can find, yes, my syllabus is here. Oh, I forgot that before Mamma, we also did Bella Ciao. And of course, that was largely to teach these commonly, these common sounds like ch and j that I just gave you a minute ago. And some very common words. It has 6 verses, so students were also free to just learn a few of the verses if they didn't want to learn all 6. It's quite an easy tune, and I guess in Anne's category, since it's quite an internationally known piece, that it could be in the second group of her songs that are relatively well known abroad, but people probably don't know most of the words except for Bella Ciao, Ciao, etc., etc. After those first three initial songs, as I said, Fra Martino, Bella Ciao, and Mamma, I had planned on tackling a singer-songwriter from the 1960s and 70s. Let's say the Italian equivalent of Bob Dylan, who could have been Francesco De André, for example. And I wanted to work on articulation with a particularly fast song, Bocca di Rosa. And I had to redimension our expectations, let's say. And so I thought, well, maybe we could have a song from that period, Mi sono innamorato di te, Amore che viene, amore che vai, Il cielo è una stanza. I mean, these are all more, well, let's say slower songs. In Italian, they would say melodic songs, although that might not be very clear what we mean in English. Basically, we had to give up on all of these because their Italian was not quite at that level yet. We also, I personally did not want to do songs like O Sole Mio, first and foremost because it's not even in Italian. A lot of people think it is. No, it's in Neapolitan dialect, which of course is a completely different language. And perhaps you don't know that Italian is a patois. You could also call it Neo-Tuscan. And for those of us who don't live in Tuscany, of course, it's not the local dialect. We speak Venetian. I mean, most Venetians grow up speaking Venetian, and they have the compromise of speaking Italian so that they can communicate with someone from Rome, for example. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to understand each other. And so often, when I have friends visiting, when I have friends visiting from other parts of the country, then we often have to translate the gondolier's jokes, for example. They're not able to follow those. Well, finally, as I said, we were able to make it into the art songs. I would say, even though this specific song that I mentioned before, Caro mio ben, is not taken from an opera, it's an aria, still it would be more in the category of classical music that a lot of people take Italian for in the first place because they want to do that. Now, of course, even the Italian is quite archaic in some cases, so you're not going to have a lot of useful vocabulary. What did we do? Well, I think one tool that we used that was very useful was having oral clues to a crossword puzzle. Here you just see, you're only supposed to write in the words in Italian, and you don't see them. But I make it super easy from a certain point of view because you have the English word here. I mean, let's say, for example, a certain clue is today. Okay, naturally you're supposed to write oggi, O-G-G-I, and you should write that here in the appropriate place. Well, I don't give them oggi written. I give it to them in like a 4 or 5 minute audio clip where they say, these are the words that you're supposed to be writing down. So in theory, that should make it super easy for them, and more importantly, it makes them focus more on the sound rather than on the written language. And I think that was one of the main points that we got out of this. I think, in conclusion, I would say it's really important not to set goals that are too high for what you can do in 8 weeks when teaching song through another language. And as I said, that is the goal. You are teaching, you are giving the student tools to use so that he can indeed sing songs in that language, even new songs that you aren't going to be able to help him with. He'll have more tools than he had previously. Yes, I saw the question from Kelly. Caro mio ben, yes, Anne indeed made a song sheet for ukulele for ukulele and also for piano. So I happen to be one of her piano students, as a matter of fact, so we did both. So that's why I have both of them at my fingertips here. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Time permitting, of course.
Thank you so much. I think questions we can go into the end. I'm gonna have to leave, and I know Anne will be back. That's amazing. I mean, it's just so much to take in when teaching language with ukulele. Yes, thank you so much, Bruce. I want to
Okay.
take your class too.
Well, we should be offering it again in September, October, I think. So, and
I
it
love
is
it.
all in Zoom. We had people from Hawaii to the United Kingdom, and so across 11
That's
different
so
time
cool.
zones.
That's very cool. Love it. So now, Mark, it's your turn. And let's
Okay.
see, we'll just start you in a few minutes for, I know it
Yeah,
seems so
before you
tight
start the
for
clock,
15 minutes.
I just wanted to say that it was really interesting to hear Bruce talk about the way he built the class and the kind of the problems he ran into and how he solved them.
Yeah,
I mean, I think in terms of instruction, that was really valuable. If I wanted to build a class on teaching Hawaiian as a language rather than just teaching Hawaiian songs, it was really helpful to me to hear some of the things you went through in order to actually build that class. So
yeah, very
with
cool.
Hawaiian music, I started playing ukulele about 13 years ago and fell into Hawaiian music right away because at the time it was the only class I could find in ukulele was Hawaiian music class. And so for me, I was learning at the same time how to strum, how to fret, how to sing and play at the same time, and how to pronounce Hawaiian words. I would say that generally, it's been my experience anyway, that people learn Hawaiian songs not to learn the Hawaiian language, but to be able to sing the Hawaiian song that they're learning. Although there is a class, there's a website called Ukulele Online, Olelo Online, which is, Olelo is the Hawaiian word for language, where somebody teaches a class in Hawaiian language by going through a song each time and stopping to talk about grammatical and structural things. So what I'd like to do is demonstrate how I would teach a Hawaiian song by teaching a Hawaiian song. And the song I selected is a song that is probably the single most popular Hawaiian song on the planet, Aloha Oe, which was written by Queen Liliuokalani. It's mistaken as a goodbye song. It's actually a song about the profession of love between a soldier and his girlfriend as the soldier is leaving to go off to battle. So the first thing I would do is talk about how Hawaiian letters are pronounced. And the great thing about Hawaiian is that every letter has only one pronunciation. There are only 13 consonants, there are 5 vowels. And the vowels, A is A, E is E, I is E, O is O, and U is U. So it's A, E, I, O, U. And every time you see one of those vowels, it's pronounced the same way. There are some complications. Sometimes vowels, like in the first line of this song, the word na, the letter A has a kahako over it, which means that you elongate the letter. So instead of saying na, you would say na. And that affects sometimes the cadence of songs. The other trick about Hawaiian is that if you look at the first word, ha'aheo, there's what looks like the beginning of a quotation mark in there. That's called a okina. The okina is actually a letter, and it's spelled with an okina in it. And what it does is it's a guttural sound that you place where you see it. So instead of saying ha'aheo, you would say ha'aheo. You put a guttural sound in the middle, ha'aheo. So once people are familiar with the language, with pronunciation, what I would do is just read through a couple of lines of the song. So for example, here, the first line, the way this reads is ha'aheo ka'ua I napali. And ka'ua is a great opportunity to demonstrate something about Hawaiian. Every Hawaiian word ends in a vowel. It's just the way it is. When a Hawaiian word ends in a vowel and the next word begins with a vowel without an okina, then you blend the letters together. So in singing, you would say ha'aheo because of the okina, but when you get to ka'ua, you'd say ka'ua. You would not say ka'ua, ka'ua. And then, because the letter I and the A is not separated by an okina, this is basically ka'uai. See how that comes all in one breath? It's not ka-ua-i, the way we might say it in English. It's ka-ua-i. And then, so ha'aheo ka-ua-i na pali. The next line is ke nihi a elai ka nahele. E hahai. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about Hawaiian pronunciation is the diphthong. There are often times where you get two letters together, like ha'aheo and hahai. There's an ongoing debate about how you pronounce the diphthong ai. Some people pronounce it ai, so that they articulate each of the vowels, and some people pronounce it ai, where you kind of articulate both vowels, but you're blending them together more. And this is really interesting in the word Hawaii. Hawai, Okina I. And the debate is, do you pronounce it Hawaii or Hawaii? And people do it both ways. And the value of knowing that diphthongs can be pronounced either way is that sometimes you change the way that you say a word based on what you need in the song. And I'll demonstrate that when we do the chorus of the song. So moving on, ha'ahai, ha'ahaiana, pahai kaliko, pua ahihi lehuao uka. And I really have blurred all that together. Lehuao uka. Because there aren't any yokinas to stop the wave of vowels. And then we'll just do the chorus quickly. Aloha oe, eke ona ona. Now here's ona ona is a great word because when you say ona ona, it's 4 syllables. But you can also pronounce it onauna when it's only 3 syllables. So depending on what you need for the song, you might sing that word onauna or onaona. And both of them are correct. What isn't correct is to put an okino between them, because if you say ona ona, then now you're saying the word drunk or sewer like, and that's a different word. Nohoi kalipo, a fond embrace, a ho'ia eau. See what I did there? Ho is separated by the okina from ia, which is separated by the okina from eau. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking up words and attaching parts of them to other words because that's how Hawaiian is spoken. Ho'ia eau, until we meet again. After doing that, the next thing I would do is we would learn the cadence of the song without singing it. And the way that my teachers did this was to clap their hands. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Ha'aheo ka'ua'i na pali. 2, 3. Ke nihi a elai kanahele. E hahai ana paha I kaliko. Pua ahihi lehua uka. Aloha ore, aloha ore. So you get that, and without knowing the melody, which everybody of course already knows, you get a feeling of the cadence. And this is really important because the cadence in Hawaiian music is everything, because frequently you're singing for a hula dancer. And if you get the cadence of the song wrong, you mess up the hula timing. So, having said that, I'd like to just sing the first verse and the chorus for you guys. And I'd like to point out, in the first line of the chorus, which is called here the hui, the melody, we all know the melody, da 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 da. The way the Queen wrote it was aloha oe, aloha oe. You often hear it being sung aloha oe, aloha oe. And the reason for that is that when somebody wrote the English words for that line, farewell to thee, they changed the melody to fit the English words. Farewell to thee. It wouldn't sound good to say farewell to thee. So often people confuse the English melody with the Hawaiian melody. So having said that, I think I have enough time to just sing through the first verse and the chorus. Here we go. Ha'aheo kauai na pali Kenia elai kana hele E hahai ana pai kaliko Uai lehua oka Aloha oe Aloha oe Eke o na ona no I kaliko A fond embrace Aho ia e au until we meet again. So that's how that song sounds. I wanted to make a point about the third line of the first verse. I sang E ha hai ana paha'i kaliko. And although I was supposed to put some of those vowels together, end of the last word, beginning of the next word, sometimes it's okay to pause for a breath. So if that's the point in the song where you need to be taking a breath, you can take a breath and say paha I kaliko instead of paha I kaliko. That happens a lot in Hawaiian music. My first Hawaiian music teacher said that he would listen to some of the masters of Hawaiian language and take a tally of the number of times they butchered it. Because oftentimes spoken Hawaiian and sung Hawaiian sound different because of, concessions that are being made to the cadence of the song or to where you breathe or to other things about the language. So that's what I got. I will stop sharing now.
That's fantastic. You still have a couple minutes left if you have anything. 3, as a matter of fact. Go up to on mute.
Let me play for you another Hawaiian song that I won't have time to teach you, but if you can follow along. Where did it go? Oh, I believe I may have deleted it. Sorry. Oh no, here it is. I'll bring it up. Can you see that now? Ula Palakua? No. I'm going to take all 3 minutes trying to figure out how to...
Just play it.
Here we go.
Hear it.
This has a different strum. Kalana, kalana mai nei, a o ulu palaku, te inu te ahi ahi, ka homea o pani olo. He vehi e kukule, a o ulu palaku, o nauna me ka awa. I did want to make the point here that when I sang the second verse, the word onauna, which was onauna in Aloha Oi, fit better as onauna here. Onauna me ka awa puhi. And so that words like that with diphthongs give you options sometimes.
I love it. That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Hardy, it's you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you keeping the time so we can hear everyone. I could spend all afternoon on this. So fascinating. Okay, Hardy, you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a long day, so I try to get it done. I well, now I have to first of all find the file. Is this one? Okay, you should see this now, I guess. Okay. I haven't taught German or other languages via music before, but the idea is quite nice to do this. This is a German translation of Aloha Way, which is from a German. It's a pop singer from the 1930s. So he made a very strange translation. It has nothing to do with the original language and the original lyrics. It's I will try to translate this. When I came, she stood alone on the beach, and she gave me a white pearl band. And her look, spoke to me more than any word. And she said, "Stay here and don't go away." And then this Aloha Oi. You seem to me like a fairy from the fairy tale, although I didn't understand your language. So it has nothing to do with the lyrics you know, but it's some pop song. But if you want to learn some German, you could use this. And I absolutely agree that you can't really learn the language through a song, but you can learn a song in another language, which is quite fun to experience. So what I did here was I tried to write the words in a way that you can pronounce them here on the right side. The first word is als, which means when.
Would you mind scrolling down, Hardy?
Oh,
On the
We're
can't
seeing a
see.
page that says Kinderwollen Singen,
oh,
and it looks like you have a separate tab that has Aloha
okay.
Oi, which you should probably click on so we can see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will try. I see the original. You know what? Yep. No, that's my book. Wait a minute. I guess.
There we go.
Okay. I'm getting old. Okay. So now you see. Can you see my pointer? Yeah. Good. And So, okay. Here's this part is real German, and this part is what you, as an English speaker, what you would say. So it sounds like this. It's not real phonetics because I hadn't time to learn how to write real phonetics. But the first line is als ich kam, stand sie allein am Strand, which may sound quite strange to you because the German language is said to be quite hard and very not hard but very abrupt. So if you like to try this, the first word is als. I guess if you read this, you would normally say else or something like that. But if you imagine it would be written this way, it would be als. The second word is ich. Ich is the German word for I or myself, and we have different ways to pronounce the ch. It's in this word, in ich. It sounds a little bit like sh would sound in English, but it's not sh, but it's a little bit more in the back of the mouth. And the third word is calm. Calm. I could have written the English word calm for not wild. And so the first three words were als ich kam. And if you like to, you can try this. It's als ich kam. And then it goes on with, I didn't know how to write it differently. Stand. And then sie, and then allein is this word, which means alone, am Strand. It makes no sense to go through the whole song this way, but that could be a way to just show the way the words can be pronounced. Yes, but I have never really taught my own language to other people. So that might be quite strange. One could, I could try to sing the song for you. By the way, this is a typical German ukulele. They're called Brico, and they're quite nice. But okay, you know the tune. It would sound like als ich kam, stand sie allein am Strand, schenkte mir ein weißes Perlenband, doch ihr Blick sprach mehr als jedes Wort. Bleib doch hier, bleib bei mir, geh nicht fort. And so on. So it sounds quite different than you know, but the only German translation I found this far, and the guy who translated Freddie Quinn, is he made a song in the I just saw the message, but you can see it all now, right? Okay. He made a song I believe in the 30s or 40s, and the guy is still alive. And it's not really the kind of music I I listen to normally. He was a German who was associated with going to the sea and all, but he never went on a boat. Yes, this is the way I could teach this. So, and how much time is still left? 5. Okay. Then I can show you another song which you probably don't know. Can you see it now? It's a different one? No? Okay. Then I have to find it again. I will. Neue Freigabe und machen wir es mal so. Aha. I have some difficulties with my computer. Okay, now you should see it, right? Okay, this is a real German folk song. It's written by Goethe. I don't know if you know Goethe. He's the most famous German writer that ever existed. Do you know him? Maybe. He wrote a lot in German, so he's often associated with Shakespeare, but the German version. And this is a song he wrote about the area I live in. And it's called Sah ein Knab ein Röslein stehen, which is very antiquated language. It's about a young man who sees a rose standing there, and he wants to pick it, and then the rose doesn't want to be picked, and it stings him. And yes, it's if you think a bit about the lyrics, they're not about flowers, but it's a very nice song, and I just looked for a German song which could be nice, and this is from my latest book. So I can show you the song, and if you want to, I can give you the sheet. Do you know this melody? No? Okay. It's there's no German who doesn't know it. It's a beautiful song. Sah ein Knab ein Röslein steht, Röslein auf der Heide, war so jung und morgenschön. Lief gleich es nah zu sehen, saß mit vielen Freuden, Röslein, Röslein. Oh, Now it gets quite high. Röslein rot, Röslein auf der Heide. It's if someone else than myself sings it, it's very beautiful. And in this case, I would just put a phonetic lyric underneath, so you could sing it. That's a very nice song, which is worth to learn, because of the very old language. If you play this one to an audience, they definitely won't know it, and if they know it, they'll be absolutely amazed that you can sing it. You see these letters with the dots above them. Yeah, they're in English. They're not common, and most English speakers would call them O. But they're a mixture of O and E, so it's Ö. It's halfway from O to U, so Ö. And we have three of those letters. It's if you have an A with these dots, without the dots, you would say A. And with the dots, you would pronounce it English. A. A. Yes. And if these dots are above the letter U, it would be a U. U, like you know from the Turkish language, I guess. U. And these letters are quite fun for foreigners, because they often have problems to pronounce them. And a lot of American heavy metal bands put those letters wherever they can, so they think it looks German, but it's just wrong. Okay.
Thank you, Hardy. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have time for you.
Okay.
It's been at least 15 minutes, so I hate to interrupt you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I like your phonetics on the page. That's good.
Okay.
And then we're going to move to Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me? All right. Good morning to all. It's Malaysia morning time. All right, I'm going to share our Bahasa Malaysia, which is our official language. Personally, I speak Mandarin because primary school I am studying Mandarin, just like Anne. And okay, let me share the screen first. I'm sharing two songs. One is a family song using the tune of Clementine. You know the song Clementine? Oh my darling, oh my darling. So this is the. So I also speak Japanese, because the Japanese pronunciation and our Bahasa Malaysia are quite similar. So our Bahasa Malaysia, we have quite unique, very easy to learn according to the website. We don't have gender, we don't have like conjugative, or even like others difficult like others languages. So our Bahasa Malaysia, we have only 6 main vowels, and we got 19 native consonants. We also got some Bolok Loans consonants. So when I teach foreign languages, I don't teach like Mas said, I didn't teach language. I just sing, the songs in different languages. So if you can see here, B-A-N, bang, we pronounce as bang, and then G-U-N, we pronounce as gun. So bangun pagi. So it's just like the Japanese or even Hawaiian pronunciation. When you see two P-A, we will pronounce as pa. And you see the I is the E sound, which is a vowel. So pagi. The second word is gosok gigi, is brushing teeth. And siu chu, chuchi is washing. You don't wash your face. Muka, M-U-K-A. It's very easy, right? And then P-A, pa, we pronounce as pa. K-A, and then we have add the E, we become pakai. Baju, B-A, ba. This is J-U, we pronounce as ju, baju. So put on your clothes. Makan is eating. Roti is our bread. So the pronunciation, when you see the K-A, ka, when you add the N sound, you become kan. Okay? So this is M-I, you know, is me, and then you, N-U actually by itself is nu, but when you add another M sound here, the vowel, the minum, susu, S-U, S-U. Susu is milk. P-E-R, P-E is per, but we add the R sound, become pergi. Sekolah. Sekolah is school. And then we have S-E, sir, and then we have N-A-N-A, but we N-N-A-N-G, we will become senang hati. So it's very easy. Maybe I can try. Bangun pagi, gosok gigi, cuci muka, pakai baju, makan roti, minum susu, pergi sekolah, senang hati. Very easy tune. So I think this is a very familiar song for all of you in the tune of Calvin Tai. And for the English translation, actually, when I Google search the YouTube, I saw the Chinese, the English translation. It sounds like time to wake up, brush your teeth and wash your face, put on your clothes, eat some bread and drink some milk, then go to school with a happy heart. So I hope you can share this song with your students in the Malay language. So our Malaysian language is very easy to learn. Well, I will continue to the next song. I think it's an unfamiliar song to most of you, but that song is a very popular song in Malaysia. Whenever overseas guests here, whether it be official or unofficial, in all the gathering, even the government, so we will use that song to greet all the guests. So the song is called Rasa Sayang. Rasa means feel. Sayang means love. Let me look for the lyrics now. Rasa Sayang. Oops, I cannot find it. Yeah, it's here. Just a moment. Wait. I saw a chat. Let me see. Oh, hadis it only the words. Okay. Alright, so Rasa Sayang. Can you see the score? Yeah. So I think I've shared the music score as well to end. You can look up in the Google Drive. So you can see again the Ra, R-A, Ra is feel. Rasa, this is the pronunciation. We will see S-A, Sa, and then we have Y-A-N-G, Yang. So we pronounce Rasa Sayang. O. R-A, Ra, so repeat. Very, very simple. It's just a repetition. Rasa Sayang, A. A, lihat, nona, N-O-N-A. This is a bit difficult to pronounce. J-A, so we will pronounce as Jauh. Jauh means very far. Nona, the nona is a lady. You know, when we address a lady in Malay, or beautiful lady. When we see a beautiful lady from afar, the whole release means lihat nora jauh, from where we see a beautiful lady from afar, we feel love for that lady. So it's about love song also. So again, rasa sayang, sayang hey. So rasa is feeling, sayang is love. So when this guy see the beautiful lady from afar, oh, it's feeling the love of it. So this is how. Let me explain the worst one first. The worst one actually in our Malay, it's kind of poems. We call it pantun. It's a rhyme, okay? So buah, B-U-A-H, we pronounce as one, pronunciation. Buah. Buah means the fruits. Cempedak is our local Malaysian fruits, very tasty. So I hope when teacher Lindsay come to Malaysia, I will make sure you get to eat the cempedak. Okay, buah cempedak di luar, di is out, luar is outside, pagar. Ambil, AMBIL, ambil galah, tolong jolokkan. Okay, so ambil means take a stick. When we see the fruits of the cempedak fruits outside the gate, we use a stick to bring the fruits down. So jolokkan means take it down. All right, jolokkan. Saya, I am. Now, so the pantun means the first line actually sometimes the meaning doesn't actually gel with the second verse because it's more on the rhyme, so the second verse will explain, is something like explain the actual, to tell the actual like moral of the story or the poems, like this one. Saya, I. Saya means me, I. Budak, children. Baru means new. Belajar, learning. So I'm a student who just started to learn. Kalau is means if, kalau salah, tolong tunjukkan. So this means that kalau if I make any mistake, please show me. So as you can see, this pagar and this belajar sound the same, right? It's rhyme. So jolokkan and tunjukkan is the same, but these two doesn't gel together. If you see a cempedak outside the gate, please use a stick to bring it down. I'm a student who started to learn. Please guide me, if any mistake, so like that. Okay, so I will try to sing this song for you. The starting pitch is this one. The misa. Rasa sayang, hey, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, hey, lihat Nora rasa sayang, sayang, hey, rasa sayang, hey, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, hey, lihat Nora rasa sayang, sayang, hey. So then the words will come in. Wah, cempedak di luar pagar, ambil galah, tolong jolokkan. Saya budak baru belajar, kalau salah, tolong tunjukkan. Hey, then we repeat the words again. So why this song is so popular among all the ukulele players, especially to greet the overseas guests or whoever, because you can just keep repeating the verse. Yeah. So you can just, so yeah, even it translated in Mandarin when I have a Chinese ukulele player around, then we sing here. I put this one. If you know Mandarin, this is about the China from England, 英国, because I'm inviting teacher Lindsay His to our Malaysia for our 6th Malaysia Ukulele Festival. So I would like to welcome him and sing this one. I just sing this one. I say welcome the friend from China, from England, and we gathered together and we were happy to make music exchange and then wish our friendship, this one, friendship, forever. 英国来的朋友们，欢欢热热聚在一起，大家开心来交流，就有一天长地久。Hey, rasa sayang, then you repeat. Hey, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, hey, lihat Nora jauh, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, rasa sayang, hey, rasa sayang, sayang, hey, hey, lihat Nora jauh, rasa sayang, sayang, hey. Today is a beautiful Sunday, sharing the joy ukulele. PBMU and member would like to say a big thank you. Hey, then you repeat again. Why I got the worst trait? Because this is for my society. My society, we have a short form called PP Mum. It's a Malay words, means the full length is Persatuan Pencinta Music Ukulele Malaysia. So when I sing this song to my ukuleles, when we want to say farewell, we will use this one to greet our ukulele player. So today is a beautiful Sunday. The Sunday sometimes is pending when I go to a shopping mall to perform, and that is a Saturday between a Saturday. So yeah, it's a very easy tune. I'm not sure how many of you have heard this song before. So it's too early in the morning. My voice is still not open yet. I hope I'm not. I can sing it well. That's it from me. This song is easy song. Okay, thank you so much. I will share the YouTube link next time to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for getting up so early to be here. It's very early there. Let's see, I have a suggestion since we have about 10 more minutes. If Lindsay, do you have a song since I see that you're here, and Laura? Did you want to share, just sing a song that you have, either one of you? We have about 10 minutes if you want to share that time.
I'm going to power up, Fred, because I'm getting prepared at the moment. But so thank you for asking me that.
I know. I realize that, but how about you, Anne?
Yes, it's really kind to ask. I'm very glad to be there as well, but it's quite middle of the night here in Germany where I'm living. I'm French, and everyone in the house is sleeping. I was already finding a quiet corner, but I will not think it's too loud.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. I will have to be leaving soon at 6:20, but I thought hi there, Bruce, did you have some questions? I thought we just leave it open for discussion and questions.
Well, this was in response to somebody who asked for the melody to Caro Mio Ben, and I can briefly sing that to you if you're interested.
That would be great.
It's very easy. It's indeed usually the first song that is given to beginning opera students. So this has been transposed down to C, so it's particularly easy to play. So, Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te languisce il cor. And I can give you the rest of the piece too if you like, but that's giving you a flavor of what it would be like. Now, somebody like Pavarotti would probably do it in Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te languisce il cor, and so on. So it depends on whether you want a voce impostata. I mean, do you want a lyric kind of a voice? I generally would say no. I would say, unless that is the goal of your student, that it's good to give him a voice that's accessible to everybody who has not sung opera. So that's one reason that I would do it down in a medium key instead of a high key. This was the same F that Hardy was saying, oh, that's getting up a little too high. Yes, I would say for most singers that is a bit high, unless you're used to it. So that just gives you a flavor of what it's about. Oh, by the way, Anne already has given you the score to this and several other of the pieces that we used in Italian voice in the one of the very first comments in the chat. So if you want to, that is a Google Drive. It'll only be open while this Zoom is working. So just click on it now and you can download, or at least you can visualize a lot of the material that we used for that course. Oh, Anne's back.
Anne's back. Hi, Anne.
Can I say something?
Please.
You know, the
Yes.
Caro Mio Ben means a lot to me, because when I was a diploma student at uni, that was 15 years ago, I used to accompany the worker student on this song. I don't know the meaning. I also don't know it's a German song, so I don't know. I just know how to play the piano and then to sing. So
This song, no, it's definitely not a German song. It's written by Giordani. It's not clear which of the Giordani it was in the family, but this is from the late 1700s. And if you like, I have my translation. I can say, love of my life, trust me at least, when you're away, how my heart aches. So that's giving you a modern translation of it. And then, of course, the second part goes on with a different text, but I'm just saying that at least can give you a flavor for it.
I wonder when you have a class, I would like to sign up for your class to sing this song.
And can give you all the information.
So would I.
Thank you.
You're very welcome to come.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing today.
I really have enjoyed this session. I'm gonna have to go, and you're back, right?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
There she is. Are you actually driving?
No, I'm the passenger.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the passenger. This is the driver.
Oh, very nice. Hi, driver.
So I listened to you all on YouTube live stream the entire time. And that was fantastic. You know, it made me so I'm just curious, everyone, you know, experiencing the different ways we teach. You know, we all have different strong points, and I'm thinking, is it better to just play the song first so people can have it in our ear, in our mind, and then talk about the lyrics, how to pronounce it? Because I'm always like, oh, should I make sure people, you know, what does everybody think about this? I can only see, oh, Marley.
And I would say my own experience was that in the ukulele classes that I had that taught Hawaiian music, the first class was old school. It was this guy who grew up listening to his uncles play on the back porch of his home in Honolulu. And so what he would do is he would play the song with us. He would just give us the sheet music, make us play the song with him, and then say his only instruction after each time we played it was one more time. And that's all he said. And we just kept playing it over and over again until we figured out what he was doing. In the class that I'm in now, well, things have changed since the pandemic, but in the early days, the guy who teaches it is not Hawaiian. He's from Texas, but he's very familiar with Hawaiian music. He would find the best version of it he could on a CD of each song that we were going to learn, and he would play that for us, and then he would walk us through it. And I don't know if one is any better than the other. I learned them both ways.
Yeah, anybody else has, I mean, because I noticed that when I played the Two Tigers song, I used a video that had no context. It had nothing to do with two tigers. It was about folding plastic paper. So, and when Mark, when you said Aloha Oe is a song that everybody knows, does everybody know that? But the minute you play it, then maybe everybody will know it. But maybe, I'm just wondering if people associate the name, the title of the song with the music. Just like I think Jasmine Flower, everybody should know that. But until I play it, maybe nobody can hear it. So I'm just curious.
You know, you raise an interesting point about foreign language songs, is learning what they mean. You know, watching a video about two tigers and seeing people folding plastic bags, it's easy if you don't know the language to think, oh, this is a song about folding plastic bags. And to really play a song with heart in a foreign language, you have to know what the words mean. It's not enough to just be able to pronounce them and to phrase them properly. You have to know what they mean. I don't know if you noticed, but on the song sheets that I was using, the English was in the right-hand column so that you can like look over there and say, okay, what am I saying in this other language?
Exactly. The need to know the meaning is really important. The other point I want to talk about is there a difference between somebody who's teaching like Hardy, teaching German, mother tongue, and native language, versus Mark, Hawaiian, and Bruce teaching Italian? You know, it's like, because you didn't grow up with it, it's not your mother tongue, you approach it differently, right? You almost could stand at the point of view of the students to say, hey, this is what students will want to know. So I'm just curious, because like, Hardy, for you, you know, were you thinking, you know, what was it like? I guess it's very different from learning English, right? Because you already know German. All right, I can't see everybody, so I can't say. Go.
Okay. It's quite difficult because it's completely different from learning if you teach something you had to learn yourself, it's easier than to teach something that you just can do, where there's no where you have no idea what might be difficult for other people. So yeah, it's a strange situation. Yeah, but it may work.
Yeah, so this relates to, same thing with the skill, right? Teaching the song that you should perform,
Yeah.
virtuosity. Now trying to teach it, you never think about it. It's quite a different process. So that's why, when I was like learning English, asking people, native speakers, about grammar or what should it be, and they would say it several times. Say, "Oh, I think it's this one because it feels right." I'm thinking, how could that be? There should be logic behind it. How can you say it several times? Say it, and then when I started teaching Mandarin, it's the same thing. I would just say it several times. Say, I think it's this one. When do we say liang? Like two tigers versus urge. Like Kelly, what do you think about that? Is your mother tongue Mandarin? So it's like it feels right, say liang rather than urge, right?
That's the beauty of our Mandarin. And it's so difficult.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, right? 二只老虎，两只老虎 Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, which is correct. We're reaching the end of our 9 minutes. I want to thank Marlene for hosting, taking over, and I would like to continue this topic in July, more in depth into maybe talking about the musical aspect and just going through more in depth, because this is breadth. I'm just wondering how everybody is everybody okay for the 15th of July? That's
No, I'll be in Belgium then, Anne. So I'm not sure I'll make it, but I think I can if I haven't got I won't have my ukulele with me, but I guess it may still be.
Okay. It'll be good if you could. All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. And thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Anne.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all.
Thank you, everyone.
See you all next month. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mark,
Yes.
can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I've been asked to run a group on strumming techniques. Is it all right if I photocopy and reproduce your Hawaiian strums booklet?
Sure, as long as you attribute, it's fine.
Of course, I would do. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. That's really kind. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, what I learned when I started playing Hawaiian music is that you're supposed to pay what you learn forward.
Yes.
And so, I try not to have an economic interest in any of that stuff. If you can use that stuff to help people and benefit them and get them interested in Hawaiian music, then I'm all for it.
I really like what you said about strumming, everyone being in unison, like in an orchestra. And I'm teaching this adult which is retired, and she plays in a group. And I asked her, and she said, "Well, they're all doing different things." And I said, "Well, if you'd like, I'll come along and give you some suggestions." And I'll pass it on. Thank you. But obviously, thanks for that, Mark. That's really kind.
Sure, have fun with it.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Right now, we're on thank you.
And its forecast just proven to be relentless. Right now, We are looking at heat advisories and excessive heat warnings for much of the state of Texas and all of Louisiana. Tomorrow, during Father's Day, by the afternoon, temperatures will feel like 113 degrees in Austin, 109 in Alexandria, Louisiana, and the heat along with the humidity only working as fuel as these storms continue to erupt tonight in areas like Oklahoma City, down towards Dallas, and severe shifts. Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, you could see damaging winds, hail, and
Now to the race for the White House and President Biden stepping in a critical battleground state of Pennsylvania. President warning on a recently collapsed section of I-85 Philadelphia, saying there's no more important project in the country right now. And later holding his first re-election rally in that city. Tonight, GOP candidates still hitting this room. ABC's Karen Travers in Philadelphia.
Tonight, President Biden kicking off his 2024 re-election campaign in critical battleground state of Pennsylvania. His first stop, the site of that deadly I-95 overpass collapse in Philadelphia. President Biden viewing the devastation putting air in the mini one.
Project right now in the country.
A temporary fix coming much quicker than expected.
We will have reopened 2 weeks.
That swift timeline, according to the president, is because of union labor working around the clock.
Organized labor. Union labor.
Before a fired up crowd of 2,000 union members in Philadelphia, the president accepting the endorsement of the powerful AFL-CIO, which represents 60 unions and more than 12 million workers. It's the labor group's earliest ever presidential endorsement, a move the Biden campaign says will kickstart a major organizing effort to get him elected.
It's going to make a gigantic difference in this campaign.
But polls show warning signs for the president's re-election bid. A recent ABC News Ipsos poll found that his favorability is just 31%, down 15 points from the summer before the 2020 election. The Republican contenders hoping to capitalize on the president's fourth win. Mark DeSantis today campaigning in Nevada.
We are going to send Joe Biden back to where he belongs.
And that I off the trail as having a ceremony to say goodbye to her husband as he deploys to Africa for a year with the South Carolina National Guard.
So much of my it's done.
Karen Travers on the campaign trail with Biden in Philadelphia. And Karen, you're looking, the president will soon shift his focus to funding his re-election bid.
When Biden campaign officials tell me the president will not hold regular until next year. And beyond fundraising, in California next week for a series of events and have one fundraiser scheduled in Chicago and Maryland for the end of the month.
All right, Karen, thank you. Coming now to the emotional farewell for an 8-year-old girl who died while in custody of the U.S. Border Patrol. Teddy bears and pink balloons surrounded the girl's casket. Funeral services held Friday and today. The immigration authorities are now investigating that for fakely claiming Border Patrol agents ignored their pleas for help. Here's ABC's Monica Zerhan.
Tonight, the investigation into the tragic death of an 8-year-old migrant while in Border Patrol custody continuing as her family waits her arrest. Dozens gathered with funeral service to remember Kennedy Reyes Alvarez. Family see this time on traveling from Texas. Little girl's casket surrounded by teddy bears and pink balloons. Her this horribly appointed, surely apart. Or making things really remind me of the Latvia war and a deep dive last month at a border patrol facility in Arlington, Texas. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the family of 5 crossed the border from Mexico on May 9th, telling officials their youngest daughter suffered from sickle cell anemia and heart disease, with a disease and a deep complaining of abdominal pains and testing positive for the flu. She and her family were then transferred to a CBP facility to treat those with communicable diseases. The CBP said in a statement that no medical personnel at that second facility in Arlington both acknowledged being aware she suffered from sickle cell anemia, had a history of congenital heart disease, with an ether at one point of 104.9 degrees and a day's mother outdoor at Nashville said on the day she died, a nurse repeatedly used to hospitalize her sick daughter. He refused until she passed in her mother's heart. So there's injustice that will bring her back. Waiting in custody for nine days is simply unacceptable. DDP acknowledging, quote, despite the girl's condition and her mother's concerns, contracted medical personnel and now transfer her to a hospital, higher level care.
And with this incident coincided with the end of Title 42 last month, which had allowed a CBP to turn away most migrants during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Department of Homeland Security, since then, unlawful entries are down 70%. As for this case, the investigation is still ongoing.
All right, thank you. New details were following in the case of a Michigan man charged with allegedly planning a mass shooting at a synagogue. Federal prosecutors say the 19-year-old stockpiled weapons, expressed neo-Nazi ideology and anti-Semitic beliefs on social media. Tonight, what we're learning from the suspect's mother. Here's ABC Jail Live.
Tonight, April 10th, the FBI saying social media accounts tied to a Michigan man posted Nazi imagery and sent messages about planning a mass shooting at synagogue. Investigators say they received a tip about those alleged threats. 19-year-old Sean Pitella allegedly writing expletive this war and everything in it. I'm going to start making plans soon. Just gotta buy it through more things. Adding, I won't be taken alive. I'll make sure of that. Federal agents say Pitella traded anti-Semitic messages on Instagram with a friend overseas, writing, I just need a camera for streaming and some more magazines. Don't want to run out of mags and have to reload one. When FBI agents searched Pitella's home, court filings say they found unsecured weapons, including a 12-gauge shotgun, a rifle, a pistol, plus tactical vests, and a red and white Nazi flag. On his phone, agents said they found the name of a Michigan synagogue and the date, March 15, 2024, the same month and day after the Zealand mosque attack in 2019 that killed 51 people. Authorities say Pitella admired the gun. He specifically had to have a threat. And also, ideally, you have a discussion or plan about how you're going to carry it out. The information says anti-Semitic incidents spiked 36% between 2021 and 2022, highest on record in close to 50 years. An attorney Pitella declined to comment, but investigators say he told them he did not intend following through with the mass killings he spoke about. Denying it is fine, but there may be a lot of countering information to say, well, this is not true. Pitella's mom told me today her son was swept up in online behavior during the pandemic. She claims those guns and tactical were found by the FBI to her husband, not son.
Jared Ryan with that new information tonight. Thank you. Next year, the FAA is investigating a close call at Boston's Logan International Airport. United Airlines plane was traveling at a slow speed when it clipped the tail of a Delta plane onto its tarmac. And then that United flight reporting the collision. This follows a series of potentially dangerous incidents. Here's ABC's Philip Long.
Tonight, the FAA investigating how this United plane clipped apart aircraft on the tarmac at Boston's Logan Airport. The FAA says just after 7 p.m. Friday, United Flight 369 was taxiing when it bumped the tail of Delta Flight 1657. Passengers were on board both planes. The Frederickson family speaking with our Boston affiliate WCDB.
I saw this other plane stationary and we were just driving and it hit the other plane.
On the same day, at the airport in St. Paul, a near collision avoided the last minute between American and Delta planes. ABC News is aware of at least 8 close calls in the U.S. over the last few months. Friday's incidents come nearly 2 months after the FAA launched a safety review team to address the near collisions. After acknowledging an uptick in close calls this year, the FAA now promising to give airports more than $100 billion to help prevent runway incursions.
Officials say there were no injuries reported on either plane. Delta and United both sent us statements. Delta apologizing for the delay. Both airlines working to rebook their passengers. Wait, yet another alarming incident on our bill. Thank you. Now to the 73-year-old shark attack survivor describing her terrifying ordeal in the Bahamas. Speaking from a hospital bed recovering from surgery to amputate her leg. She says it was like a scene from a horror movie. And have her friend help save her life. Here's ABC's Jack Blake.
Tonight, Iowa native Heidi Ernst is recovering after nearly losing her life from a shark attack in the Bahamas. The 73-year-old, airlifted to a Miami hospital, had injuries so severe her leg was amputated.
I didn't even see him approach me. He came from below, and it was just like a truck hit me. And then it was just like a scene out of a horror movie.
Ernst, an experienced scuba diver, had just finished her dive in Grand Bahama last week and was climbing up the boat ladder.
Shot tapped and back by the leg.
Heidi then striking the shark in an effort to get it to open its jaw and crediting her friend for his quick thinking.
I could have easily bled to death had it not been for my friend who put the tourniquet on my leg.
Closer to home, last month, 15-year-old Matthew Trusdowski bitten by what is believed to be a shark while surfing in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, receiving 6 stitches in the foot and leg. On the opposite coast, a new study by Shark Lab at Cal State University of Long Beach finding great white sharks are more common on the California coast than previously thought.
Shark attacks in general are extremely unusual. The fact that you're seeing more white sharks out there over the last couple of decades means that the conservation and management is working. The fact that those sharks are not biting people, I think, is excellent. People shouldn't be afraid of them.
Going back to Heidi, she said she will continue diving and has even researched fins for amputees. What?
Yeah, but later, thanks to you tonight. Investigators in Kansas, along with the FBI, are finding out who sent letters containing a suspicious white powder to state lawmakers. Representative Tori Marie Blue posted on Facebook a picture of the envelope she says she received. She says first responders in hazmat suits collected it at her home. At least 80 of those letters were sent out. Those were addressed to lawmakers as well as the state attorney general. The powder is being tested. It's unclear if any specific messages were included in those letters. Overseas tonight, a high-stakes diplomatic mission to China for Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Blinken is expected to meet with several Chinese officials over the weekend. He's the first Secretary of State to make the trip in 5 years. And President Biden is saying today that he's hoping to meet with China's President Xi soon. This coming amid escalating tensions between the two countries. In Uganda, a horrific attack leaving more than 40 people dead after suspected rebels targeted a secondary school near the Congo border. Investigators say at least 38 students were hurt beyond recognition, shot or killed in machetes late Friday night. Authorities blaming an extremist group with ties to the Islamic State for that attack. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday. The important decision with a big impact on abortion rights in a red state. And a crash in Baltimore, more injuries when a bus went right into a building.
When migraine strikes, you're faced with a choice. Ride it out with the trade-offs of treating or push through the pain and symptoms. With Ukulele, try some other options. One dose works fast to eliminate migraine pain. Treat it anytime. Without worrying where you are or it being too late. Do not take withdrawals at 3 and 4 hours. Allergic reactions to Ukulele can happen. Most common side effects are nausea and sleepiness. Migraine pain relief starts with you. Ask about Ukulele. Learn how acne can help you save. When it comes to your hair, ingredients matter. That's why Herbalife is packed naturally derived plant ingredients you love. And none of the stuff you don't. Our sulfate-free collection smell incredible. And leave your hair touchably soft. Herbalife.
So it's Locking Flex, a super thin, flexible patch, maximum DC strength leg that contours the body to relieve pain right where it hurts. And in the end, it really sticks. So it's a good message. They're chasing business from air guards. People like Sam make
Everyday products, design smart. Like a smart coffee bag. Sprint speeds for you.
cold genius.
Like that. I can break your car. Like ours. The 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. But it's here. Since then, 70 pence. Yes. This is premier card purchase for business.
Frustrated by skin tags? Dr. Schultz has the breakthrough you've been waiting for. The first FDA cleared at-home skin tag remover. Remove skin tags safely in as little as one treatment.
Next, a frightening incident in Baltimore. A bus crashed into a building this morning as part of a multi-vehicle accident. 16 people were treated for injuries, none of them life-threatening. But the building was evacuated as precaution while authorities assess the damage. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Iowa will not be joining other Republican-led states in imposing strict abortion limits. On Friday, the state Supreme Court blocked the law that would ban abortions once cardiac activity can be detected. That's usually around 6 weeks pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. Governor Kim Reynolds says she is disappointed with the court's ruling and vows to keep fighting for stricter abortion laws. When we come back, an NFL player arrested at an airport. But the TSA says it found in his luggage.
Have heart failure with unresolved symptoms? It may be time to see the bigger picture. Heart failure and seemingly unrelated symptoms like carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, and irregular heartbeat could mean something more serious called ATTR-CM, a rare underdiagnosed disease that worsens over time. Sound like you? Call your cardiologist and ask about ATTR-CM.
Beautiful. See how the light catches that counts.
Stunning. You sure you don't want your family in the family photos? They have the same money so yeah, same different.
Well done.
Hey.
This one's going on the mantle.
We all need fiber for our digestion health, with less than 10% of us getting up each day. Good thing Metamucil gummies are an easy way to get prebiotic plant-based fiber with the same amount of fiber as 2 cups of raw. Metamucil gummies, the easy way to boost your daily fiber. Here, keep dropping. It's not done for it's fresh cut. No meat, no veggie, no.
Whatever her name is, it's just.
Mom, you're so lucky you're single. I'm Sherry.
I'm John. I'm a pharmacist. As we were starting to age, it's like, wow, can we help our cognitive abilities? It's all revision. I did read the clinical study and my head into the child. I feel that revision is helping me with overall clarity, and as a pharmacist, to not only just customers, but also family, as a safe product to try. Prevision, that's almost everywhere without restriction.
Open to Atlantic and raise the jar to gelato made from scratch and freeze the jar to flavors from the world's finest ingredients. And now, from jars to bars, new Talenti gelato and sorbetto made bars.
Many of feel like you can do. It's so good to listen. To listen is not problems. It's an add-on. This can help you improve lung function. It's a reason to be. Juice helps prevent asthma attack and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Are you in? Juice can't cause allergic reactions and can be severe. Get out right away. Chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicine before putting steroids without talking to your doctors. And who knows when you do? Ask your patent specialist about Dupixent. Hey, this little rock and roll legend.
Lupe Fiasco. You can show your grandma those best.
Empire State of Mind is performed by what?
Generation gap leadership.
Not funny, you see.
Disney Pixar's elements already PJ sounds like only the music we
To the index now, New England Patriots player is facing weapons charges after police say 2 guns were found in his luggage Friday at Boston's Logan Airport. Jack Jones is a second-year defensive back. He faces arraignment next week. The TSA released a photo of the guns he was allegedly carrying. Patriots say they're in the process of gathering more information and are not commenting further at this time. When we come back here tonight, America Strong has a 7-year saved her great-grandmother's life.
Was wet AMD. Sometimes I worry my world is getting smaller because of my sight. But now, I can open up my world with the Vizsla. The Vizsla is the first FDA-approved treatment for people with wet AMD that improves vision and delivers a chance for up to 4 months between treatments. Which means more. The Vizsla is the only treatment designed to block 2 causes of wet AMD.
The Vizsla is not injection. Don't take it without infection or active swelling in or around your eye or allergic to radiance. Treatments like Vizsla can cause eye infection or retinal detachment. The Vizsla may cause a temporary increase in eye pressure after receiving the injection, although in common there is a potential risk of heart attack or stroke associated with places.
Oh, no.
Chance for up to 4 months between treatments with Vizsla. Ask your doctor. You found the right model.
For sure.
Now, how can you be sure you're getting the right deal?
I have to talk to my vet team. Hey girl. This one's like your last boyfriend. It's got issues.
Well, let's ask the experts. For the right used car, just say, show me the Carfax value. You'll get the most accurate price based on the deal's thousands. And look for me and stop. Shop at the all-new Carfax.com. Highlighted in True Max protein with 30 grams of protein. Those who try can feel more energy just 2 beats. Here, I'll take that.
It's Sure Max protein, 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and the nourishing room giveaway for a chance to win $10,000. Listen, your donor just passed along. How do you secret? I'll leave it free. Just like that. Just not. Yes.
In more, just 19. Spiritual actions yourself to daily digestive support. To learn about the solutions every day. Getting there with Nature's 19.